can you just talk a little bit about the new signing?
Yeah, Andreas is a guy with great experience. He was a player for his national team, for his country, Player of the Year. He comes in after winning, and he's played at a high level. We've been following him for a long time. He's good on the ball, good service. He can move with and without the ball. We think he's going to fit in well. He's a great character, great professional.
What was the difference now? I know it seemed like you guys had maybe been trying to sign him previously. What was the difference now that kind of made it possible?
Yeah, I mean, we had watched him back when he was at Mainz in the Bundesliga. I think the timing for him wasn't right. We worked closely with him. We had some conversations. We weren't able to pull it off for many different reasons. So I think he has been kind of following what's going on here as much as we have followed him. So we started up conversations, and it went fairly quickly and easily with him and his agent.
It sounds like he's at least pretty good friends with Michael Sperning. How much does that help to when you part with players to leave on good terms and knowing that they have connections too and they have friends and they're going to talk?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things we take pride in here is in making sure that when a player leaves here, it's on good terms. The player is leaving speaking highly of the club. And I think that was the case when Michael left. And Michael had talked to him back when we were looking at Andreas at Mainz and spoke highly of the club and said, "You'd like it here. My family likes it here." And, he has kids and wants to make sure they can adjust because then the player can perform when he feels settled.
How important is it to take advantage of opportunities when they present themselves to bring in a player like him with his caliber of experience?
Yeah, I mean, we're always happy when we can find a player who's out of contract, who's free, who is high quality. That's a plus for us. And I think it's important for our group to bring in guys who can complement the other veteran attacking players we have, and not veteran, but creative players we have. So I think he fits that mold. And I think he's determined and excited to be part of it as well.
In a perfect world, how quickly would you like to see him on the pitch?
In a perfect world, the first chance he can get to play. I think he's coming in fit. I think he's been working hard in this little transition period for him. So, as soon as we can get him where he's comfortable and we feel like he's not going to get injured, but yeah, we want to have players out as soon as possible.
Is it hopes that bringing in someone like him might be an added little spark that might help get the team kind of out of their current funk?
Yeah, I mean, we're looking for that. We need to change the mentality, the way we go into games, a positive environment. And when you add players, the work rate of other players picks up, the confidence of these new players that they can bring into the group. So we're looking that he can come in confident and bring some composure and energy into our group.
Not necessarily on this deal, but in general, when you're scouting and recruiting from around the world, is the field turf ever an issue with some international players?
It's a conversation we have. Most players nowadays have played on it. It's a lot more common now in Europe than it used to be. Not as much in South America, but it's always something we bring up, and we want to make sure it's clear and that we try and have the highest quality turf we can. And we tell them where we train every day, so it's not as taxing on the legs to train on the grass.
Is the timing of this signing, is this just coincidental that, Papa's future is a little uncertain and Alonso's kind of dealing with some injuries, that it's just happened to be right now, or did that lead into the decision to get it done this week?
No, I think it's just this is when the window is, and the window closes in a couple days, and I think this is just the coincidence of the timing.
At one point, Andreas was pretty highly regarded as a young, up-and-coming player. I guess he was Player of the Year for Austrian 20. What do you think happened? I mean, he's obviously become a solid pro, but he never necessarily became the breakout player that maybe he hoped or that the Austrian public may have hoped. I mean, when you look at how his career went, what do you see as maybe didn't quite click, and what kind of opportunity does playing in MLS present?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's many times where a young player comes through and there's a lot of hype around. People get excited about a new young player coming up, and clubs are looking at them, and that can happen really fast for a player, and we've seen it with many players. And I think Thomas is an example at Flamengo of that. So, you look at his career as a whole, and you look at the clubs and leagues that he's been in. It's been a really high quality. And I think that's just, sometimes the career path is not just like this. You take your bumps along the way and you adjust and you show what kind of professional you are. And Andreas is a good pro. And many times in our league, for us to get a player and have that opportunity, maybe you get a guy who's maybe had some bumps along the road, and that's how you can fit him into your salary cap.
At any point, do you see the league maybe loosening the restrictions on the number of international players you can keep on your roster in the future?
Yeah, I don't want to comment and try and guess. It would probably be a question for MLS.